As we're in Advent and we begin our first Sunday of Advent, we begin with hope. I mentioned that a few minutes ago, and hope is something that every once in a while we think of, and the rest of the time we just deal with life. And I think hope is absolutely something that we should focus on today. The question for us maybe to ask this first Sunday of Advent is, for what are you preparing in this season of your life? Maybe you've just been going day to day, trying to get all of the necessary things done day to day and make it through life. But preparing is a future-oriented endeavor. Preparing means that there's something coming that we're preparing for. It means that there's something we're anticipating or expecting, and there is hope that that will happen and it'll go well. Advent for us today is a time where we are led to prepare the way for the coming of that Christ child, and not just for ourselves, but I pray for the people around us that we live in community with, for the people around us who don't know the rest of the story. Today, what I hope to get across is that our faith is a future-focused faith, a religion of what is to come, and a religion or movement of hope. That's the God we serve, is a future-oriented, future-focused God who not only has done all that God has done, and we're right to look back and remember and be thankful, a God who is doing, and we're rightful to be thankful in this moment for all God is doing, but God is also and primarily a future-focused God. The whole point of Advent is to look at Jeremiah's prophecy and others and to see the future-focused nature of what they're saying. That while we go through struggles, even to this day, there is a Savior. Jeremiah was prophesying about a God of hope. Before I go any farther, let me ask you, where is your hope today? Preparing the way for Advent this season may begin with remembering where your hope lies. The second thing I hope to get across to you is that we can hope in the midst of life's circumstances, because the one that we hope in is greater than the sum of life's circumstances. In other words, let's break it down. Whatever happens to you in life, whatever's going on in your life right now that seems overwhelming or seems like a challenge or difficult, it's nothing to God. It's not nothing in the sense that God dismisses what you're feeling or what you're experiencing. It's nothing to God in the sense that in the snap of His fingers, God could make it all go away. And yet God seems to choose in our life circumstances to walk with us and to guide us and direct us and be beside us, rather than just be some magical fairy off somewhere that you see in the movies and read in books that just makes things disappear. And what He offers to us for hope and peace is that the world we face, the circumstances we're going through, whatever it is that comes into our world, Jesus has already conquered it. I also hope that we understand that there are two words used in the New Testament which are translated hope. One has to do with trust. In other words, I put my hope in terms of trust in you, and it's usually about a person. But the one word used the most in the New Testament has to do with expectation or anticipation. And so when we think about hope, it's this hope in what will come and anticipating what will happen. And the best expression for me this time of year and thinking about this type of anticipation and hope is a hymn that was written and is used in Advent by Charles Wesley. It's a song of anticipation for this long-expected, hundreds of years, Jesus. And even in that hope of anticipation of what God will bring, what God will do, what Jesus is going to do for all of humanity, there remains one more thing we need to cling to when it comes to hope. And that is, this living hope must be claimed. Now, I know this is only the first Sunday of Advent, and I'm going to already issue a spoiler alert to you. The spoiler alert is we know the rest of the story, don't we? We don't come to Advent with blinders on and just go, oh man, if the world only had a Savior. We know the rest of the story, and we know who Jesus is, and we know the full story of his birth, his life, his ministry, persecution, death, and resurrection. We know the whole story, and yet we should take time to slow down, to prepare the way, and to prepare the way for us to fully experience the meaning of Advent and Christmas. We need to prepare the way as if it were the first time. And we should claim the hope of these next few weeks as we anticipate and expect the hope of the world to come in to the world.